Today's episode is brought to you by Patreon. If you're interested in supporting the show, go to patreon.com/JoshuaVelas and become a $2 backer today and get early access to the new episodes. I'll be leaving a link in the description down below, but for now, on to today's episode. You're listening to the Augmented Experience podcast. I'm your host, as usual, Joshua Velas. I'm a student, musician, and a gamer at heart. Join me as I sit down every week to talk about all the latest news in the technology, business, and video game world. I hope you guys enjoy. All right, everybody. Welcome back to the show. My name is Joshua Velas. I'm your host as usual, and obviously welcome back to the show. Today's episode 134 of the show, and before we get started, we're going to do a bit of house cleaning real quick because, well, we always like to do it around here, and you guys already know the usual stick. So, yeah, let's just get right into it because I really have been waiting to talk about this episode for a while now, and nothing is going to interrupt this one. I'm telling you this right now. So I do want to thank you guys for coming back and listening. It really means a lot to me. You guys constantly keep coming back, and you keep downloading these episodes. You keep sharing these episodes. You constantly keep supporting me, whether it be financially by being a Patreon backer or just being a regular user or I'd say listener and listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you like to listen to your podcast, or watching them on YouTube where you get to see these nice video versions. Hey, everyone on YouTube. So you get to see the nice video versions and you get to see my lovable face. I will also say, if my hair is a little bit crazy, it's been like that for a couple of days now. I don't know why. I've been using more shampoo than normal to at least like balance out the hair. But yeah, so we just got to deal with the hair being a little bit crazy. I do want to say, again, thank you to the Patreon backers for constantly supporting the show. Obviously, as I mentioned before in Wednesday's episode, we're in the progress of getting things ready for another Patreon tier. I would say this one's going to replace the $2 tier, and then we're going to add one above it. And so that's what we're currently in the process of working on. So bear with me. You know, it's kind of a pain in the butt to get all that worked out. But I do thank you guys for constantly supporting the show. It really does mean a lot to me. But I do also want to say thank you guys for obviously getting us close to 2,000 total downloads. We're almost there. You know, just keep pushing, keep downloading, keep sharing the episodes. It really means a lot to me. But it is time that we go into the episode. But before that, I do want to give just a little bit of, quick little life update with me. At the time of this recording, I finished doing my second interview with TI. I am really excited to see how this turns out because for me, having this opportunity means a lot because, yes, with TI, if I do get the internship with them, then it would essentially mean that I would have a job when I graduate. And that definitely means a lot to me that I wouldn't say I wasn't stressed while doing the interview. I was calm and relaxed. I was being my normal self that you guys obviously get to see. And if you know me in real life, my normal regular self, depending if not me being derpy, but it was very calming, relaxing. I was at peace. I was content with how everything turned out. Now I'm just currently waiting to see what they say. And I will be letting you guys know on my social medias how this turns out because, to be honest, I'm very vocal about my emotions. Like I always say, my emotions are kind of like a volcano, but I will always be humble in defeat and humble in victory. And we just have to wait and see what happens. And I'm just excited, so please keep me in your thoughts and prayers. That's really all we can do is just hope that whatever the will of God is for my life is what will happen. And that's all we can do. But for now, I do want to get in today's episode because I know we've been wanting to talk about this one for a while now, but given all the other influx of news and now even more influx of news, it's best that I do this episode now because now we can at least, have a sensible conversation and now there's more info out about it. So at least we have more to discuss. So what are we actually talking about? So we're talking about the Pixel 4a 5G and the Pixel 5. If you haven't seen the episode, we did a while back talking about the Google event, or specifically we talked about the Pixel 4a and talked about how I consider it a very special phone in the market right now. But now you have the 4a 5G and then the Pixel 5. And the Pixel 5 is a very interesting take, especially as Google's flagship phone of the year. But it doesn't act like, it's not considered a flagship by many people because one, Google didn't price it at the same price tier normally, about like 800 plus to $800 plus to, I would say, $900 to $1,000. They didn't price it in that category. Google priced the Pixel 5 in one size and two colors, one storage option at $699, so $699. And it's very interesting because this is the first time Google has decided to be modest about what they do. Instead of going overboard with crazy features or trying new stuff, that Google decided to stick to their strong suit and make a solid phone with great cameras. And it's interesting because I know a lot of tech nerds or people that like seeing the specs and everything like that, that they want to say that this phone is garbage, it's poor value, that it doesn't make sense to buy this phone in 2020. However, as I've been hearing more and more of the commentary regarding this phone, you start to realize that yes, this phone serves more purpose. It has more value than what you really think. And it's interesting because it is in a healthy place in the market. Yes, it is competing against the Galaxy S20 FE, and at the same time it's competing with the newly announced OnePlus 8T, which the Samsung Galaxy S20 FE, the fan edition, is at $699 as well. But then you have the 8T Pro, or 8T really, not the 8T Pro, but the OnePlus 8T is at $749. And all these phones are rocking, large amounts of RAM. The only difference is the Pixel 5 is running a 765G, while the other ones are running the 865. And a lot of people are like, why didn't Google go with the, top of the line processor? And in my opinion, and I even saw Michael Fisher talk about this, or Mr. Mobile, that it was a smart idea. Because in my mind, I'm like, yes, high refresh rates, 5G, big processor equals big battery drain. Even a phone like my S20 Ultra, even with a 5,000 milliampere battery, does struggle to meet a whole day. And that's mainly because of the 5G, because of the 865, and it drains the battery a lot because, like I said, bigger processors require more power. And I think it was smart that Google decided to go with the 765, because yes, they're still able to keep 5G. Yes, they still have a high refresh rate display at 90 hertz. Granted, it's variable, but they're able to keep a good battery life based on Michael's findings, that based on some of his tests, that he's able to get their whole day very easily. And because of that, it's very interesting because yes, this is the biggest battery Google has put inside of a Pixel phone, and at the same time, it's also very efficient in terms of power, and it still keeps 5G. And yes, I do understand a lot of people have concerns regarding the camera because yes, the Pixel hasn't really changed the main sensor since the Pixel 2 XL. They haven't changed, or it's primarily the Pixel 2, but the sensor hasn't changed at all. So it's been using the same 12 megapixel sensor that's been on the Pixel 2, Pixel 2 XL, 3, 3 XL, 4, 4 XL, etc., etc. It's been using the same sensor for the past couple years. And a lot of people are like, well, this is interesting because now we're having to use the same sensor. The only main difference is they added the ultra wide, which a lot of people are a bit concerned because yes, obviously we applaud Google for putting the ultra wide rather than telephoto, but it's just not up to par with the same wide angles that we're used to other cameras and other camera manufacturers that they've been doing this year, including better wide angle cameras with more depth of field and adding nicer features. But at the same time, Google's computational photography is still amazing regardless. However, as many people have mentioned, and I'm not going to beat this horse to death, but yes, the competition is catching up to Google because they have not really changed the sensor. They haven't upgraded the sensor in any meaningful way. They haven't really done anything besides just update the algorithm that they use. And I think going into the Pixel 6, if we really want to mention that, I think it would be smart for Google to include an updated sensor and actually improve on it, make it a better sensor. Because I think if Google was to go that route and have a better sensor as the main sensor with the computational photography, I think it will be amazing, because now it's more of a hardware thing rather than a software, because the software is already amazing. The algorithm is great. It just comes down to getting a better sensor, which, not going to complain, the Pixel still takes amazing photos. The photos still look great, especially for a smartphone, but we definitely do want to see some improvements in regards to the main sensor, because like I said, the main sensor is, well, it's the main sensor, so you want it to be improved. And something that a lot of people have kind of complained about at the same time is the reduction of the front facing camera, that it's not as wide as it used to be, you know, especially because, yeah, it kind of sucked that they got rid of the Soli sensor and things like that for Face ID. But I get it. They wanted to reduce gimmicks and just make a good, reliable smartphone. Or in some ways, a smart communication device, rather, and not focus on extreme super processing and super powerful phone. This is just a phone that takes great photos, clean software, and it just works. And I think a lot of people don't seem to realize that, yes, I get it. You can buy the S20 FE. It has an A65, 120 hertz display, big battery, 4500 milliamp hour battery. It has expandable storage and things like that. But you look at the Pixel 5 and it's like, these phones serve different purposes. Yes, the Pixel 5 will take better photos than the S20 FE. They will. At the same time, yes, the FE has better features. It has the 120 hertz display. Obviously, it's only limited to 1080p, but you know, you have the 865 processor. You have a good amount of RAM, and the Pixel, yes, you don't get as powerful processor, but I would argue you would get just as good or even better battery life because of the efficiencies with the 765. You know, with Google's algorithms and things like that for battery. And at the same time, even a 4,000 milliamp hour battery is really good regardless. Not 4,500 because that's in the FE. And to me, it's interesting because, yes, this is a very competitive price tier. A lot of people have mentioned that, yes, the $700 price range is very fierce this year because we have the FE, we have, you know, the Pixel 5, we have the upcoming iPhone 12s, we have, well, at the $700 range, it's going to be the 12 mini, and then at the $799 range or $800, it's going to be the 12, the actual 12. And then obviously you have the OnePlus 8T as well at $749. But this price range is definitely proving to be very competitive, and that's really good in terms of the market because now you have more competition. But you also have the 4A 5G. I already said the 4A was a great value to buy for a lot of people that just wanted a good phone, clean software, great battery life, you know, not overly big, but still a great phone with a great camera and great software. 3 years of guaranteed software support, and you're the first ones to get updates. So you always get security updates first. You always get every major Android update first, no matter what, because that's the Pixel promise, that the Pixels will always get the updates first. And they also have the cleanest software experience because you don't have to deal with bloatware from carriers or anything like that. And for me, it's very interesting, you know, that phone comes at even cheaper, like $200 off. And it's like, huh. So basically, all you're really getting is just the water and dust resistance with the 5. You're getting wireless charging. You're getting, I wouldn't say a better camera, but you're getting a bigger battery and, you know, a better, just, I would say a little bit better display. But, well, because, yeah, you get the 90 hertz included, which I think personally, like I said, I think we should have just stuck at 90 hertz. 120 is way too overkill. It still drains batteries way too quickly. I would have been fine with 90 hertz because, to be honest, if Samsung would have done that and made the displays like intervals, like what Razer did with the Razer Phone 2 and even other gaming phones where you get to have intervals, so say 60, 90, 120, 144, I think it would have been nice to do the intervals because I personally think that 90 is a sweet spot where it doesn't drain battery too much, but with a phone with, say, 5,000 milliamp hours, I would say 90 hertz is a good middle ground because you're still going to get the nice buttery smooth of 90 hertz, but at the same time, you also get better battery life. Like, yes, it's not going to be as good as 60, but you're still getting better battery life. And I think that would have been a much wiser decision to include that. I don't know why they didn't, or at least do something where it's adaptive, where it just, you know, ramps up, ramps down, just how Apple does with ProMotion. But it is a very interesting proposition, especially when you look at the Pixel phones, because Michael Fisher said it best. I have no hesitation recommending this phone to anybody. I feel very comfortable recommending this phone for a lot of people because I know there's people that like the Pixels. Some of my friends really love the Pixel phones when they first got it. Like, I love my Pixel 2 XL. It was still one of my favorite phones I've ever had. And the only reason I got rid of it was because, yeah, it started running slow. But as we started to see, yes, the Pixel phones haven't been slowing down because the addition to the more RAM, you know, the better processors have definitely been helping out and making them better at handling these processes. And to be honest, it's actually funny because the Pixel 5, I would say is probably the underrated phone of the year at the rate we're going. It might actually be considered the most underrated phone of the year because there's so much value being offered here. The fact that you're getting clean software, you're getting a great camera that's, I would still argue, still one of the best smartphone cameras you can get. Maybe not the best video camera, and that's also yet to be seen because, you know, we still have the iPhone 12 Pro Max coming out with Apple Pro RAW, and then all the Dolby HDR video modes that are coming. And, you know, we still have that phone coming, and we still have to see how it performs. But to me, I think Google made a smart and healthy decision with positioning the Pixel brand and not focusing on being the specs king, but focusing on what you're good at and promoting that. And yes, let's be honest, the Pixel 5, yes, it's not a glass sandwich. It has the more of a plastic back, but it still has wireless charging, which is great. And it doesn't really stick out. And a lot of people kind of hate that the phone doesn't stick out so much, that there's not so much personality to it. And personally, I think it's fine. Like I said, if you're going to put a case on a phone, does it really matter what color you get? Because if you're going to put a case on it that covers up the back completely, does it even really matter what color you get unless you're getting like a clear case, which even then most clear cases aren't the best. They kind of suck. But in my opinion, it's going to be interesting seeing how the Pixel plays an impact on the market. Yes, will it be the best selling phone of the year? Probably not. But I would still recommend it. I would still recommend the 4A 5G for a lot of people that just want clean Android, a clean Android experience with 5G and just want a good phone. I would say the 4A 5G is a great value. I would even argue the Pixel 5 is a great value as well, even at $699, because to me, it makes logical sense because it's still a great phone. It does everything you want it to do, and it's not trying to, I wouldn't say it's not trying to be special, but it's not trying to overextend and push into an area that it's not. That it's not trying to create a false image of itself or trying to, you know, present itself as something that it's really not. And to me, I'm glad that Google did that. I'm glad that they decided to go with a more moderate approach, actually provide a great user experience to the user, because like I said, and it's still affordable. Yes, I know some people say $700 isn't the most affordable, but it's still better than paying $1,000 because, as a lot of people have said before, you don't need to spend $1,000 to get a great smartphone. Good smartphones are getting cheaper and cheap phones are getting better. And that's the reality that we're living in right now, because these phones, whether it be the 4A 5G or the 5, both of these phones are incredible value because you're getting 5G, which I still say 5G is not really a feature worth buying a phone for, but the fact that you're getting it at a good price, I would say is fair. I would also say the fact that you're getting great cameras, you're getting clean software, you're getting guaranteed consistent software updates and not just promised from a company that are like, hey, we'll do it, but you know, at our own pace and on time, like this is guaranteed, like a set schedule. That happens every month. And to me, it's also nice because then you also keep a lot of the nice features that comes with owning a Pixel phone, like the Google Voice features, or, well, not Google Voice, but the text translator or text to speech. You also get the onboard Google Assistant that it runs locally rather than using Wi-Fi. Yes, it kind of sucks that they got rid of the squeeze feature to activate the Google Assistant, but hey, we'll gladly give something up because I do believe that the Pixel 5 is a good, well-rounded experience because you get a solid smartphone for an affordable price. And I would not hesitate to recommend this to anybody because I'm just like, look, if you're in the market looking for a great Android phone to take good photos, you want clean software, guaranteed software updates for many years, at least 3 years guaranteed, then yeah, I would go with the Pixel 5 or even the Pixel 4a 5G if you really just want something that's just affordable. But to me, it is very interesting what Google did. And I'm proud to say that, yes, this was a healthy and smart idea from Google because, like I said, they're sticking to what works rather than trying to play to gimmicks or try to pretend to be something they're not. And it was wise for Google to do this. To be honest, it really was. It was a wise idea. And I'm personally excited. I hope you guys are excited. You know, are you guys going to pre-order a Pixel 5? Did you already pre-order one and you just got it? You're going to do the same thing maybe for a 4a 5G or maybe even a Pixel 4? Who knows? But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or if you like to listen to your podcast, then follow me on my social media at SoMungie, basically on Snapchat, Instagram, and anything else that you guys can find me on social media. Well, my Twitter is a little bit different, but you can find me on social media, contact me, and we can pretty much go from there. because let me know what you guys think, because to me, this is an interesting time, even though, yes, this is a weird time to releasing smartphones as a phone manufacturer, especially given the whole world situation right now. But it's interesting because Google is definitely paying attention. They're learning from their mistakes. And I'm excited to see what Google has to offer going forward into the next year phones, especially because this is a healthy direction, a healthy move in the smart direction. And that's just how I view this. This is a clear, concise way of going into a healthy direction and making choices that are actually good and that will benefit them in the long run. But thank you guys for your time. I know it's a little bit of a shorter episode, but I wanted to talk about this and give my thoughts on it because, like I said, the Pixel 5 is very interesting, and who knows? I might get one. To be honest, I might trade in my S20 Ultra and get the Pixel 5 and give Pixel another go, but we'll see. But I love you guys today. Thank you guys so much for your time, for coming back and listening. It really does mean a lot to me. Again, please continue to have me in your thoughts and prayers, because the whole thing with TI, with school, it's a lot. So thank you guys for the love and support. It really does mean a lot to me. Please continue to have me in your thoughts and prayers. Please continue to take care of everyone around you, because the world is still weird. Things are still, I wouldn't say back to a new normal. And all we really can do is just continue to take care of everyone around us. Continue to be mindful and thoughtful of the people around you. And let's go from there. Do what we're asked to do in a respectful and kind manner, and go from there. But I thank you guys for your time. I love you guys today. Please continue to be safe. Have yourselves a wonderful weekend. And I will see you guys next week for all the latest news that we're going to be talking about. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye, guys.
Hey there. Thank you for listening to today's episode. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your day and listening to today's episode. If you're interested in supporting the show, whether it be financially, clicking the follow button, or just sharing the episode, it all works for me, guys. Thank you guys so much for your time, and I love you guys to death.